The exciting part of the story is, I think Mitchell came first, and then Leonard and Mitchell had two sisters in Poland. And they brought them over,
To
I don't
Israel.
know how, so don't ask me, and they both landed in Israel.
That's Esther.
Both sisters
Judith.
were broke, didn't have any money. And they both ended up in different kibbutzim. Now there were two sisters coming from Poland on the ship, but somehow, I don't know the story. One ended up in kibbutz Beit Alpha. And
Judith.
What?
Judith.
Judith, and the other one who married, I can't think of his name. Anyway, she ended up in the
Simon
northern
and
part.
Esther, no.
And,
Did they know they were each there, or they didn't
yeah,
know?
they
knew.
communicated.
But they were
Leonard
separated, but they
sent them.
knew.
So the ship must have been going to Palestine at that time.
I imagine.
It was before.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
1948.
It was long before they were just working the land.
I think there's a big youth
Pesach.
Zionist
But you know the
movement.
biggest
Esther was
thing.
married to
She's
Pesach.
interrupting. If I don't interrupt you, I'll forget. The biggest thing that Marion did for Aunt Helen was she got her into the University of Miami with honors. Not exciting. And as Evie described this in one of her recounts over the past 4 birthday parties, Evie said that she met Helen, and then Helen introduced her to where she was living at the Bar's house, and Evie went to the Bar's house like she was, a cousin of the family, and that's how Evie and Helen became such close friends.
Tell us when you.
So that's why I really can't be angry at Evie.
So tell us when you and Mom when you came down from New York.
Right.
Tell us that story.
Well, we were preceded by the Schulmers. And this is part of my speech. Helen and Seymour met on the train. Did you hear that part?
Yeah, we heard that.
Okay, and they hit it off immediately. And the next thing you know, they're engaged. Seymour was wearing, at that time, he was wearing his second lieutenant's outfit when he met Helen in the parlor car or the dining car of the train.
Just slightly different.
Anyway, when Helen
When
saw...
he met me on the train, he was going to officers' training school.
Yeah.
He wasn't, he was in the army.
Yeah, but you're taking away all...
Go ahead now.
Camera returns to
It's
Murray.
more exciting to say that Aunt Helen fell in love with this officer
Handsome
with
officer.
his
Definitely.
handsome
Definitely.
uniform.
Definitely.
Now, Helen, you tell where you
dramatic
went.
He was on his way to general
When-
training school.
When
but-
he went to different training camps. You don't remember? Didn't you go to Montgomery, Alabama, or someplace like that?
Fort Benning, Fort
Huh?
Benning, weren't you in Fort Benning, Georgia?
That's after we were married. We went to Oklahoma.
So
I went to
anyway,
visit him.
Tell us when you and Mom came down.
okay, now, no, I gotta finish where I was. I was going to
When you
Michigan
start?
State College
Okay.
in the Army.
Where Molly went?
After you start.
Yeah, where Molly went. That's how Molly got in there.
And graduated with honors.
Graduated with honors. And anyway, where was? Oh yes. So I went to my lieutenant and I said, "Sir, I know I have no right, but I have a very special favor. My sister is marrying this gentleman who is going overseas. He's a lieutenant like you are. And if you would give me a 3-day pass, I would really appreciate it." And he did. And I went to the wedding party, and it was held at the most famous kosher catering hall in New York, the Paramount Caterers.
Is that true?
Sure, it's true. And then
Is that a big kosher?
and Helen looked so beautiful.
That's interesting. It was
And
kosher.
Seymour once again was wearing that very handsome officer's
General.
Officially
No,
wearing
I-
his
wait a minute.
lieutenant.
No,
Officially
this is
wearing
so
his.
good. I missed all this at Helen.
Okay. You'll give us the rest also?
This is going to be on YouTube.
Now Seymour all of a sudden got orders to be shipped overseas. I don't know whether you were at the boat or not, Helen. I didn't have that knowledge. Anyway, the band played Helen and Seymour's favorite song, which I Will Now Sing to You.
Great.
I'll be
The name of
singing.
the song was
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through.
Okay, you ready
That's
now for
enough.
the second part of the same story?
That was very good. Your voice is still terrific.
But you didn't let me.
Well, go stop.
Now I forgot the words. All right, so where are we?
You and Mom coming down.
No.
We're not.
Helen and Seymour got a
Didn't get there
call
yet, Rick.
from Marion, I guess. And the call was, why don't you two, Helen and Seymour, come to 4400 Sheridan, and you'll stay, we have room for you, and Seymour can look for a job, you know, in Miami, maybe it'll work, you know. He suggested it. Anyway, they came down, and Seymour got a couple of jobs, and one of the jobs was at Royal Shirt Company on Flagler Street.
He wanted retail?
Excuse me, 1 minute.
No, he was working
Can I
as a
bring the
salesman.
dessert in? We have cake.
Then, Seymour had an uncle, quite wealthy, who was in a retail business, but he gave Seymour a lead on shirts that Seymour's boss thanked Seymour to this very day because it was impossible to get merchandise in those years. Okay, now I'm going to skip over just a little bit to Marion's
Yeah.
Wait till we get some
Now Seymour
dessert
and
in
Helen
there.
were already in Marion's house. Seymour had a couple
Molly,
of
you done?
jobs.
Yes, thanks, Kat.
And then Murray is preparing to go to Rutgers to finish his final 4.5 years.
I can't.
And Marion calls him up and she says, Mo, I want you to come and work for Uncle Leonard. He's expanding, he needs help, and he needs you like a luckin' cuss. But I want you to
That
come
means a
out.
hole in the head? Yes.
What was the last part? I missed the very
Lachlan
last
pot.
part.
Lights over there.
Before
right?
everybody
You
left.
can't walk out, Roy, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Marion called that they need Murray, like
It's,
a laughing
it's
cup.
interesting that Marion called, not Leonard.
Yeah, well, Leonard,
He was busy.
in my final portion of the speech, I said we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the, now get this word, Roy.
Roy's gone.
Not here.
Right, listen to this
If
word.
it wasn't for the largesse
Very
of Marion
nice.
Leonard, they did everything for us.
That's nice.
This was in 46 or after?
No, this is
45.
45.
Oh, before
See,
you were.
Uncle Seymour got out of the war like, I think like a year ahead of me.
Oh, really?
Anyway,
45.
oh yeah, so Helen got a bedroom which was later become Sunny with Uncle Seymour. And when I came down, Helen found a new apartment complex on 2115 Southwest 17th Street.
Oh my God, I
And it
heard.
was a, what do you call those, student?
Duplex, like a duplex.
No.
It was a duplex,
No,
because I moved into your apartment.
no, it's not a duplex, it's it's four, two phases, it has a name, it's not important.
Quadruplex.
Anyway, Helen and Seymour moved in, and Marion said she had to prepare for Murray and Selma. Guess what Marion did? I never told Helen this. Marion has a beautiful home on 4400 Sheridan, and she had a beautiful library off the main entrance. And she took the library and she converted it to a bedroom. Now this is furniture from Leonard's store, but nevertheless it was. So Helen, Selma and I were in this library, which became our bedroom, and it was very lovely. And then about a year or so later, Helen calls us up, and she says, the couple living opposite me are moving out, and it's available. So we jumped on it, and that's when we moved in, and that's when we all started raising kids. And that's where Fuffy and Numbly came into being. Anyway, we never tell you the true story about Michael. Everyone thinks Michael is so sweet, so lovable. You know, he loved his mother, he loved everybody. He was the terror of these 4 units. He would knock all the girls over and stuff like that. He really was a terror, and I don't know how old he
Yeah,
was.
that's
6?
fine, thanks.
2.
Thank you.
Can
Whatever.
I just add a little bit to that? And when
No,
Summer and Mo.
you're
No?
changing.
Oh, okay.
You
You're
weren't here that
changing,
picture.
you're adding that
No,
you were.
I'm
So
talking
you
about when
came
they
into the
came
other,
into
this
their
has nothing to
party.
do with that. Let me
Oh,
finish.
okay.
Excuse me, Rachel, there's another dessert
I'll give
in
you
the
a chance
freezer, honey,
to come back.
in a box.
In the freezer?
Yes.
3 isn't enough?
That's a,
Okay, now,
Look at that, great
Helen
history, great.
and Marion had a talk, and Seymour wasn't doing well in his present job or whatever. And Helen and Marion got Seymour to go in with Marty Rocco in the liquor business as liquor wholesalers. And Leonard, of course, was the financial backing.
We split it.
You what?
We split it. The financial backing.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. Go ahead.
I don't want to be wrong.
No, but that was a big deal. This
Oh,
liquor
yeah,
business
now-
we were in.
Now, I'm working for Leonard's store, and Seymour and Marty didn't get along in the liquor business. And the next thing you know, Uncle Seymour is now the manager of the Allapattah, Jackson's, Byron, no, Jackson, the school, of course, it's treated Jackson. Uncle Seymour was the manager now of this new shining store, which was soon to expand into all the neighborhoods, Little River, Edison Center, etc. And I was in Leonard's store waiting on black customers, of course, and we were doing very well. And then, well, I think that's about it.
That's very,
So
very
So we
nice.
progressed
this is what
because of Marion and Leonard.
Can I add one thing to that story? I heard from someone you've known for many years
the answer was no.
that Leonard was on his bicycle and he was the first one to develop the credit system. And he had a notebook and he would write down, you're buying something for $2 and you only have 20 cents to pay me, and he would keep track. And he would let people buy on credit, and he was the first person.
That was probably very true.
And that was a reason for his success.
Okay, now I'm
Very
just
smart.
trying
I
to, want to
didn't
hear
know
about
that.
our moves
Smart.
now?
I don't remember the guy's name who told me that,
Okay.
the old
Yeah.
timer.
Do you want some of that sherbet?
He doesn't, Dad doesn't.
Oh, you?
No. Dad, here's a sugar-free cookie.
What I
Maybe
bring
we
out?
should put it, well, we should put it on.
Because it's cold.
And Helen, if you want one, you better get him before Ricky.
You wanna leave it
No,
there?
it's just about,
Anyway.
that's good for Ricky.
Somebody from Bette Davis told us there was a home available on
19th Avenue.
19th Avenue and 17th Street, a beautiful home on 3 lots.
Loved it.
I like the
And the
breakfast.
guy who went to Bette Davis and lost money on the deal. So they said to me, I don't know who, probably Leonard, that there's a beautiful home for sale. Now this home was with a patio and a
Breezeway.
and a patio to relate to the garage. Anyway, it was a magnificent home.
Just do this.
And a breakfast.
Take the bottle out of the way.
And then we decided we're going to move to Kendall. And Helen and Seymour had just decided they were going to move into
6500 Leonardo.
this palatial place. Helen's father-in-law, Seymour's dad, worked hard all his life in the clothing business. And he came down for his first visit. And I happened to be coming up to say hello. And he takes me aside and he says, smell the air here. It has such geschmack. He's referring now to the gable. And we all agreed with him.
And what's geschmack?
Geschmack is taste.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good, good.
How do you know geschmack?
It's Yiddish.
All right.
You know,
Anyway,
You use that word a lot. It's geschmack meal.
Right.
The Chola was
A
geschmack.
delicious meal.
Now, there's a lot more, but.
Keep going, Dad, we got time.
We got that.
Anybody want more coffee?
And I
before
just
Mo
wanted
gets
to add
started?
that when Selma and Mo moved